Oh, wait, are we actually streaming? Good. That's so funny. I'm glad. I'm being told it's failing. I think we're rocking it. Oh my goodness. I guess that's good. All right. I don't even have my coffee ready. Yeah, but hey, we got ADP coming up. Dude, this is cool. Well, good news, it's streaming. What can I tell you? So I think we're scheduled for 8. So why don't I put it here? Come back in 36 minutes. Thank goodness it's working. Happy Canada Day, everybody. Hey, Jim. Yeah, summer hours. The honest truth, Aiden did rescheduled everything without asking me. So, yeah, I guess so. $11, y'all. Sven, I see your comment there. Yeah, I now have an office as well as my home office, and I moved hardware there. Let's say I trade more on my laptop now than pretty much anything. Morning, JGB. Hey, thanks for that email. I appreciate that you have my back. Yeah. Happy Canada Day, everybody. I do every day, JGB. I do, JGB, I do. There are differences. And I sit on a board for a Canadian company, you know, visit my Canadian family, although not for the good reasons anymore. Yeah, I'm proudly Canadian for sure. I was just at a networking event 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago, and I was telling stories about Saskatchewan. Just had a crowd around me. I was telling stories about Canada, and I told them how proud I was of being a Canadian. I said everybody is, uh, quiet like me, and focused and hardworking, honest people, and they all laugh because 'cause I'm like, "You're not quiet," and I said, "Hey, look, man, I learned to be gregarious. I learned how to do this. It was needed here." Sorry, this Chopin is too loud. I had to become larger than life, but it's not a Canadian thing. Yeah. So I said modest, hardworking people. That is where I come from. And ultimately, that's where it is. So let's say an hour or two a day, I'm this big, loud, gregarious, larger than life um, character. The rest of the day, I'm quiet as heck. Head down, working, mouth closed. How close are we? 3 minutes? Okay, good. But I can also tell you, JGB, having been back to Canada not that long ago, a year ago, I guess, it is not the same Canada than it was in 1980. Can you believe that? I know, but um, yeah, it's like, oh, it's quite different in many good ways, but in just ways I didn't expect or just really stood out to me. Yeah, well, there's the political stuff, and then there's the non-political stuff. I was, my family is very blue collar, and so I was back in Canada, and I was in a, in Edmonton, just regular old neighborhood, and I saw, I saw a black person, I think once in my life as a child, I saw someone black, like just in any city, anywhere in Western Canada. Like, and so I'm not being racist here. It's just it stood out. I'm like, look, I've been here 5 minutes, and someone of color is walking down the street. Like, I'm like, wow, that would have been a life changing event. And I'm like, is this a random occurrence? Does everyone just, like, wow, just different, not bad, just different. Also, I was at a red light and saw a homeless person. I'm like, a homeless person in Canada. I'm like, I never saw that before. Now there were other circumstances with the native population, which was, but a straight up homeless person was different. Just different. I'm like, I never saw that in my entire life. Um, I think even someone flying a Canadian flag out their backyard on their back porch. I'm like, that's cool. I don't remember that happening in the 80s of like, hey, let me remind you, my neighbors, that I'm Canadian. You're like, dude, look, everybody around you is Canadian. Like, what are you talking about? You have to fly a flag? But I was actually happy about that. I'm like, good. Some more, and I think it was more anti-American than it was pro-Canadian, which is fine. I'm like, look, if it brings Canada together, we need it, right? But it's just like little differences. Um, no, the politics are crazy. But obviously it's been 50 years. Of course, society is going to change and in a much better way, culturally, much more diversified, which is great. You can get much better food now. So there were a lot of things that I did like that in Canada as far as changes from my childhood to come back. And I don't come back often, so the changes are there, right? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, cool, right on. We got better food now because we have cultural diversity, and I'm a cultural diversity fan. I remember standing in the middle of Saskatchewan saying, I want to see the entire world. I made it a priority. I said, I got to get out of this one street light town and I want to see the entire world. And you know what? I have. Cool. But after seeing the entire world, I'm very proud to be Canadian. Yeah. All right. So happy Canada Day, everybody. This is probably copyrighted material. So YouTube's going to yell at me, but here we go. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Oh, Wayne Gretzky's son. True patriot love in all of us command. Glorious victory. There we go. That's amazing, right? JGB says, "Hey, are you still, feel Canadian?" It, I don't get the opportunity to watch hockey games at all. I'm a big sports fan, but I very rarely have the opportunity. But Edmonton was playing, the Oilers were playing in the Stanley Cup, what, every year for the last 15 years, but never win it. But anyways, I was watching, I think the first time they were up, so what was that, 3 years ago? And we got to that period, that point in that first game one, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm texting my family. I'm watching the Oilers. I'm watching the Oilers, right? I was so excited. And they do the national anthem, and it does that where the audience starts singing, and I almost cried. My wife came in and everything. I'm like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm like, I literally almost to tears, JGB. So, yes, still very proud to be Canadian. So, happy Canada Day, everybody. Don't worry, America. You'll catch up. You'll have your Independence Day soon. Now the next thing as far as the celebration, oh, I guess I have to turn my camera on, right? Yeah, let me ruin a good open here. I'll turn the camera on. Yeah, you guys don't need to turn your camera on. You can hide if you want. Um, but yeah, this is an important day in the cycle of trading and investing. And I've talked about it a million times, but here we are. So I have to do it one more time. I just, because we're here, right? This is a change in market behavior. This is and it has to do with two major human activities in the, right? In the world of money. And you're a Forex trader, right? Is this Forex today? Yeah, it's Forex today. All right. So, in regards to money, uh, many humans go on vacation in July and August in North America. Yeah. There's a lot of money in, not, I shouldn't say North America, Northern Hemisphere is what I meant. The top half of the earth from the perspective of Europeans that made the globe. Yeah, if I was Australian, I'd put Australia at the top. I'm like, yeah, we're at the top. I don't know what the Americans are talking about. I don't know what the Europeans are talking about. But anyways, for some reason, the globe has us at the top. Anyways, that means it's hot. That means if you're Canadian, you go to the lake, eh? If you live in Switzerland, you do not walk into an office in the month of August. I've been there, I've checked it. Nobody trades and invests in Zurich in the month of August. Yeah. So here's what it gets down to. We lose volume and volatility during July and August. That's just the bottom line. It's human behavior. It's not voodoo magic. Unless you're Haitian, maybe it is. But it is normal activity. Now, other things increase in demand, like gasoline, but in volume and volatility of putting money to work in the financial markets, it does slow down because there are less people putting their money to work. Now, it doesn't crash because usually what happens is even if you're on vacation and you have a job, God forbid, but if you actually have a real job, that means your boss allows you to take a week off. I still like, really? I have to ask, what am I, 5? Please, boss, let me take some time off. Like, oh my God. The last time, here, quick story. Last time I took time off from a job was back in my VC days, and I just took time off. And I get back and I get bitched out by the HR department, and they're like, "You need to like request time off. You have to put in a form. a month in advance, ideally more. We prefer 4, 5, 6 months in advance, and tell us that you're going to take the time off and tell us why. And I'm like, screw you. I literally said, there's no way I'm going to ask you for permission. Yeah, take that form, Kathy, and shove it. I'm like, I'm not, what am I, a child? Screw you. I'm leaving. That's the bottom line. Watch me go. So, anyways, so you um the the process is normal, and you don't put money to work, but the reason the markets don't tend to crash is because regardless of if Kathy in HR gives you permission to take time off, most people with a job still have money come out of their paycheck and it goes to some stupid mutual fund somewhere. Yeah. You don't even know, whatever, but it goes to the market, it goes to some sort of financial intermediary, and they buy a mutual fund on your behalf and charge you money for it. Like you can just buy it yourself, but whatever. So the money still goes to work, but the volume and volatility and the trading activity changes dramatically. And this is just simply human nature. Um, America probably let's dumb it down. Let's just say America vacations in July, Europe vacations in August, and that's why things cool down. So big new money flowing into the market right now? No, probably not. Will it crash? No, probably not. Is it? But here's the second thing. Because of this event occurring, the slowdown, the second half, like it's an event because we know it's there. It's not a black swan event where the markets crash and you don't know. Well, look, we know summer's coming. We know human behavior will change. And this is what we do. If you look at it from an economics point of view, economics is scarcity. And so it's a social science. So think of it this way: to understand economics, you have to understand human behavior. And this is what impacts the market. So we're going into the second half. Why does it matter so much? Well, because people are going to make different decisions. They're going to make different decisions. Is it going to crash? No, because there's also this human behavior where if you have a job in America, you get a paycheck. And if you get a paycheck, money now goes in to the stock market. In fact, things have changed recently where if you don't want to do this, you must opt out. It's not even an option. Like you are assumed to want to invest some of your money into the stock market now, which is, I think, fine, perfectly fine. So human behavior changes, but there's not likely a crash. But also the importance of July 1st is just before and just after money management decisions must be made. And there are several. And it's some of the decision is, what do you do before July 1st? What do you do after July 1st? Because it's this where the year is split into two, first half, second half. So decisions must be made. And there are taxation reasons, there's psychological reasons, there's profit reasons, there's all kinds of reasons that these decisions need to be made by institutional investors, but it's normal. Like you should see this coming. So the big bounce we had yesterday, check this out. Let's go back. Where did I see it? Oh yeah, Risk Radar. Let me get to the Zoom. Okay, look at the big change. You know what happened there? Short selling ended. Profit taking ended. So if you know profit taking's coming, and it is because this is what happens this time of year, we know this. But if you knew it, could you also short sell? If you knew the market was going to fade, could you also short sell? Like, if you knew all the longs are going to take profit, do you think some, let's say, hedge fund managers go, hey, there's a propensity for wealth managers to take some profit in early June. So could we take advantage of that knowledge by actually short selling with the profit taken? Heck yeah. Okay. So now let's think of it. When do you stop short selling? Well, right at the end of the month before we go into the second quarter. So now bears are buying. Bulls have already sold, and now bears are buying at the bottom. Sweet. So where are we now? A whole different planet.
Spike alert, 90 seconds until United States
Spike
ADP
alert,
employment
90
changes
seconds until
released.
United States ADP employment changes released.
That second voice is driving me nuts. We can't find where that bug is coming from. I am going to freak out. Anyways, ADP coming up. So now here's the thing in July. Do you think all the profit taking and the rotation of capital and all the rebalancing is done? I'd say probably not. Some of this needed to happen before July, and now that we're in July, now some of the other stuff has to be happen. So we might have some volume and volatility early here, just people finishing up their work before they go on 4th of July holiday, whatever that is, and then what? Quiet, the quiet season. What I'm trying to share here is I don't know what's going to happen next. But what happens next is rational and it's understandable. If you understand it, you can trade it. My football coach would say if you can touch the ball, you can catch the ball. '98.
United States ADP employment change, actual 98, missed forecast.
Whoa, bro. Whoa, bro. Whoa, bro.
United States ADP employment change, actual 98, missed forecast.
Hang on. I'm telling Aiden about this. She's like, what the? So, anyways, that's the fact. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, the last time I looked at it, there was at least a 20-second delay. Just it's YouTube. And I think it gets worse because it was about 10 and they got 15 and they got 20. For some reason, YouTube lags. So we're actually broadcasting live from inside of traders.com, and it is free to register. It's free to attend. I don't put you into a sales funnel and sell the heck out of you. Just why don't you hang out with us? Cut out that delay. All right, Murray's here, everybody. So let's get serious now. Let's get serious. So we got a lower number. Okay. Which is interesting, right? Think about this from Warsh's point of view. Because by the way, Warsh is speaking today in Sintra. Have you ever been there? Dude, it's a neat part of Portugal. Yeah. Beautiful little town. And I'll never forget it because I go into a little wine shop that had looked like oldie time looking wine. And I got my wife and I got my kids. I'm like, hey, can we stop in here? I want to look at the port wine. I'm in Portugal. Like, this is my only opportunity. And I've always wanted to get some port wine. So I walk in and I ask a few questions. And again, the wife and kids are standing right there, like, dude, we've been here 30 seconds. Can we leave now? I'm like, I want to spend the day here. Right. So I go in and they're like, hey, do you want to sit down and sample our 100-year-old flight of port wine. I'm like, flight? And they're like, yeah, we have 6 different bottles of 100-year-old port wine. And I'm like, kids, wife, piss off. Go find a castle or something. Like, screw you guys. This is it. I'm here, man. This is it. This is my whole vacation. But anyways, that's what I was thinking. But I could, mom wouldn't let me stay. So anyways, yeah. Cool town. Very cool town, Citrus. And so anyways, there's a big central bank conference going on there because that's where the king would go during the hot season to cool off up in the mountains there. It's pretty nice. Yeah, so like if we switch now to spike radar, Warsh is speaking, Lagarde is speaking, Macklem is speaking, Lagarde is speaking, Bailey is speaking. You're like, what? Yeah. So there's a lot going on. Yeah. So what else is going on? Europe is in recession, kind of basically. Like if we were gonna jump to the chase of it, right? S&P in Europe below 50, you could call that a recession. The UK below 50, you can call that recession. Yeah. Now, Challenger, Christmas, and Gray. That is mass layoffs. I think you need to lay off, is it 100 or 1,000? I think it's just 100. They track companies that lay off at least 100. Maybe it's 500, but you have to lay off more than 1 or 2 people. Like it has to be like, hey, 2% of our workforce has just been fired, right? That kind of stuff. So it's a layoff report. And the estimate was 85,000 and only 45,000 people lost their jobs. You're like, oh, well, that's good. I like how that's good, right? You're like, well, still 45,000 people lost their jobs. You're like, yeah, but that's good. That's weird coffee. Anywho, so but less people got laid off, but less people got a job. So look, it's a miss. So that's bad, right? So let's try to put this together in a story because this can get very mixed up in the media. Only 45,000 people lost their job. And only 98,000 people got a new job. So like, well, one is good. Like, okay, not losing 85,000 jobs is good. And then only getting 98,000 jobs is also good. Okay. Okay. It's less good than we expected, but is it freak out time? I don't know. Probably not. But this is why we look at a trend of things. And this is why we do multiple jobs reports. KNFP is actually 2 reports, the household survey and the establishment survey. But we also have weekly claims. We have these private claims, otherwise known as ADP. You know, we got a lot going on to measure something so important. But I think at the end of the day, there's no freak out, but there seems to be a slowdown. Why is this important? I would think inflation's going to come down in the United States. Why? Oil prices have dropped 40%. So gasoline prices will probably, after summer, normalize because they might even come down during summer, but that is peak demand. So gasoline prices would normally be high this year. And so if they're already high, even if oil prices come down, guess what? We already made the gas. You're buying gasoline from 3 months ago. You're buying gasoline from 2 months ago. You're buying gasoline from a month ago when it was high. It's just kind of like you're buying the old price. That's why there's a lag. But in the future, if we make new gasoline, the feeder stock of raw WTI will be cheaper than it was before. So the new gasoline should be cheaper. This is, I'm thinking ahead. Therefore, CPI, PCE, and all that kind of stuff should be lower in the future, which means the Fed doesn't have to have such high interest rates. But also, if the employment industry is slowing down, it's not negative, but if it's slowing down, that right, then there are two things going on. Interest rates are too high relative to inflation and GDP. And then if the economy, aka jobs, because there's a dual mandate at the Fed, is slowing down, then both could lead to an interest rate cut. Not to save the world from disaster, but just where the the Fed funds rate would be higher than R star, otherwise known as the neutral rate, and you could just normalize to R star. Now, I'm talking as an economist, but it just means interest rates are too high. We're not in a situation where the GDP is negative for 2 quarters in a row and unemployment is rising above 5%. So now you got to slash and burn interest rates to save our souls, our capitalist pig dog souls. No, we're not there, but it does indicate interest rates are higher than necessary. And nobody benefits from that. So that's kind of my 6 month outlook. Why not? It's Canada Day, for crying out loud. We can do whatever we want on Canada Day. In Canada, I have a beautiful cigar I am going to smoke this morning in your honor for all Canadians. Yeah. Yeah. It means America, you got to find a Canadian and give them a hug today. Yeah. It's Hug a Canadian Day. And we're good cuddlers, by the way. Nobody cuddles like a Canadian, huh? It's how you survive the winters. Cuddly. Cuddle cuddle party. It's so funny because if anyone is within 5 feet of me, I'm like, bro, back the truck up. You're in my space. Yeah. We salsa dance 5 feet apart. No, we don't even salsa dance in Canada. It's illegal, in fact. Yeah. All right. Nothing going on in Forex, and corn is up. Go sorghum. And oh my God. Wait, is there a glitch in the matrix? See, this is the good thing. Well, one good thing about traders is we do have transparency. I give you all the math, but I give you different points of view so you can check things like what the heck happened to Kiwi? What happened to these five handles? And now we're at four and below. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. So trust but verify. All right, this doesn't look right to me. and we are doing audits right now, so maybe he's testing the fence, so to speak, in the data, and maybe it's just temporarily being analyzed and therefore, let's say, offline. But verify it first. You know, like, what? Why did that? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why did all this change? What the heck? Do we see a bunch of zeros here? I don't see zeros. What the heck has happened? Kiwi's still weak, but a lot less. What is going on? And it must be, look, it must be seasonality. I don't know. I don't know if it's seasonality, but it might be seasonality. And that's where I go. Like, wait, we hit July 1st and Kiwi changed? Why? Well, okay, seasonality is monthly based, right? Weekly analysis, monthly organized. Okay. Um, okay, neutral. Kiwi is a lot less weak. Let's see. Neutral. I'm looking at all the Kiwi pairs. Neutral. I mean, they're slightly strong, slightly weak. So Kiwi pairs. Oh, Kiwi dollar, you dump that for sure. Interesting. We go from very bullish and very bearish to flat in July. Oh. Commodity currencies look to go flat, like the difference between Aussie and CAD, flat, but USD and CAD up. So this fits into what I've been talking about. The US dollar can get strong in July. And our commodity currencies that have been weak, suddenly everything goes quiet with them, but dollar does seem to get stronger. So we're looking at, like, you want to look at some dollar pairs maybe, or at least Aussie CAD or USD CAD is relatively strong. Let's go to the bottom. Kiwi dollar down, euro dollar down, pound dollar flat. All right. So you can still sell Kiwi, but maybe less of a Kiwi yen play than before. Kiwi Swissy, Kiwi yen. Yeah, Kiwi yen. Actually, it's an okay trade. So I guess that's amazing. Look, Kiwi yen down. Is that right? Am I looking at the right one? No, I'm not. Kiwi yen negative 16. All right. All right. So things do change, and now you have to do your analysis. That does look good technically, don't you think? Look at this. Okay. A little bit of a dipsy do in July and then up. Now, remember, we've talked about this. We talked about it last week. So let me clear my throat. Let me remind you. This doesn't mean July is a down month. It means very often, most of the time, there is a dip in July. The news to use is if there is a dip in July, we know the bottom of July leads to a high in August. Now, this means we could have a big dip early in July. And then we recover for weeks to the upside. Meaning, let's say it could drop 2%. whatever that number is. We'll do it in pips. It drops 200 pips in the first week. And then for the next 7 weeks, it goes up. And knowing this is two things. If it doesn't dip, go with it. It's working. We played the dip earlier this year. Maybe that was in June and not July. Okay. Like, you're going to cry because the dip happened a week and a half early. Look, if it was easy, we'd all be rich, which means we would just all be poor because there'd be no difference, right? Everyone would be rich, which means it's socialism. Everybody has $1 billion in currency, but can't afford to buy rice and beans. Right, New York City? Right, Colorado? Did you hear Colorado? 3 people won primaries because they were Democratic insurgents. Wait. There's Democrats, there's progressive Democrats, there's socialist Democrats, but now there's insurgent Democrats? Like, they're militant? What the hell is that? I mean, seriously, what the hell is that? I've never even heard of that before. Insurgent. Dude, that's like Republicans come out and like, yeah, we're white supremacist Republicans. Now, maybe, right. But anyways, declaring it would be new, right, for a Republican. So just coming out like, but anyways, I was shocked by that. And I'm not a fan of socialism at all, but an insurgent socialist. Like, wait, you're going guerrilla? What are you going to attack? Oh my God. But anyways, we have our dip early maybe this year, but what the news to use is up. Down to up is the opportunity. Someone not paying attention. If you want this to be dumb easy, you would say red means sell all during July, and then you would buy all from August. No. Simplify it. There's a dip and a rally. But what if we've already had the dip and it's just a rally? Because we have had a dip in some of these markets. Cool. But if a dip shows up out of nowhere over the next 2 weeks, I want you to know the truth. That would be normal. That would be normal. And you would, on the longer term, you would set up a hypothesis of wanting to buy a dip. So now you would look at your chart slightly differently. Where's the support? Where's the role reversal? Where's the pivot point? Where's the Fibonacci? Is this a 3-wave correction, and are we starting a new trend? Okay, you would look at your charts differently. You're not looking at your charts to figure out what to do. That's an amateur mistake. You're using your charts to time your entries and your exits of your strategy. And your strategy should be based on intelligence and logic, not theory or not guessing and hoping. Yeah. So if it drops, you're okay with that. Cool. Right on. And then the other thing about having a strategy is not only would you buy it down in this zone here, or you would buy a retest of 140, even though it just dropped 150 pips. You're like, look, if 140 holds, and then on a 15-minute chart, I get a higher high, higher low at around 140, I'm going to buy it because I'm a bull, and I'm going to hold it for 6 weeks. maybe more, maybe less. Maybe to the August monthly R2 or R3 pivot point. See, now that's a very detailed strategy. Okay. Hope's not a strategy. Praying never hurts, but hope is not a strategy. Okay. Hope is the lottery. And I have met people that spend $1,000 on lottery tickets. I like what we do. I like what I do for charities. It's financial engineering. Yeah. Financial engineering. The money, it just makes money. Like, why would you hope? Why would you gamble? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you're truly a gambler, you're playing a game that's 50-50. If you buy lottery tickets, it's 1 out of a billion. Oh my God. Well, give me one of those. It's right. It's a revolver with 1 billion chambers, but only one is empty. Like the worst Russian roulette ever, right? Yeah. Like, wow. But anyways, I like what we do is all I can say. I like what we do. Trading gives you flexibility. Investment gives you probability, which is both are really required. But so now we can do our analysis and say, yeah, I'd buy a dip on USD CAD. Yeah, I'd hold it for 6 weeks. And then I'd look for opportunities to take profit. I have general ideas of what price. And I have a general idea of when. Cool. Okay. Cool. So let's move on. .com. We'll do the job stuff tomorrow because tomorrow is non-farm payrolls. Do we got a hike coming? Oops. Oh, look. Yeah. Look at the reflection. How beautiful is that, huh? What does the Bank of Canada do? That's a good question. I love that it's on the front page. Yeah. Oh, come on, Canada. You got to see the humor in that. Yeah. Anyways, the French Canadian Chamber of Commerce and whatever. Press conference about the policy rate announcement. Yeah, you can rewatch all these things. The one thing you can tell right away is these people like to party. Yeah. Yeah, I can see the lampshade on his head, right? I'm like, come on, man. One too many cocktails. Time to go home. So, anyways, interest rate 2.25 in Canada, quite low. And the United States is at 3.75. And the world is freaking out, at least the media. I'm hearing it every day that the Fed's going to raise interest rates. And they're like, but we're at 3.75. Canada's at 2.25. And we're going to jack up our rates? No, John. Did you get the email, though, John? Aiden was supposed to email you. You had more than one account. And so it might be going into, but I will keep at it. We'll fix it, John. Wait, I got to watch the YouTube chat too. Where's the YouTube chat? There we go. Big Perm FX. Hey, if you're in the YouTube chat, I keep telling you guys there's a lag in YouTube and all that kind of stuff. It's okay. I'm really just using this to record, but like Big Perm FX, log into traders.com. It's free. Log in, click on training, enter the room, join us. We got a big party going on, Big Perm. All right, so we're just kind of doing comparative analysis. Now, of course, Aiden does this automatically. So we already went through the USD CAD. We already saw all this. We already saw this. Aiden knows this. He's doing it. He's tracking it. He's thinking about it. It's all right. That's right, Denise. Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit earlier in Sintra, Portugal, and we have a boatload of speeches coming up. Yeah, and I showed that too. Everybody's speaking today. Lagarde and Warsh are the big ones, of course, but don't forget about Canada. Canada's speaking. 2.25 is where we are. And are they going to raise? Is Canada going to raise in July? No. Is Canada going to raise in September? No. What about October? 90% chance, no hike. What about December? 72% chance, no hike. Canada's not going to adjust interest rates this year. What do you think of that? Okay. All right. Good to know. Not your opinion. You are analyzing institutional positioning based on their analysis and their decision-making process that they're putting billions of dollars on. The ultimate survey, the survey of serious money. Okay? They don't bet. They don't guess. They invest with mathematical precision. Okay. Can you read the tea leaves? That's the thing. So TradeRs is legal and ethical inside information. We are tracking quantitatively exactly what institutional investors are doing. And our goal is to line our trading up to trade with them and not against them. They're the wave that we're surfing. Right? You don't want to be a blind surfer. If you can't see the waves coming, it makes life difficult. Okay, now what? January. Not quite yet. March. Yeah, maybe. Yep, that starts to add up. So March, April, there's a interest rate increase priced in. Remember, most experts, they say, oh, it's all priced in because they have no idea what they're talking about. So they're like, well, how do you argue that? It's been priced in. Well, you really have to know what that means to say, dude, what are you, dumb? That's not priced in. That, and I love doing that, by the way. It feels so good. Nothing better than publicly humiliating somebody, especially somebody with power and influence, right? You're like, dude, no, I've been tracking the entire Canadian yield curve. What are you talking about? There's no imminent increase in interest rates in Canada. What are you, stupid? Right? Right. And the other one is things like diversification and dollar cost averaging. Another good one, if anyone says to you, oh, that's just market timing. Once again, they just admitted they have no idea what's going on. So you are the genius and the beauty queen at the same time. People are going to look to you for help. This is why we have the data, because you don't want to think like, well, what did Wayne tell me was going to happen tomorrow? What did Wayne tell me? Who gives a crap what I think? Because I could be wrong. So therefore, this is what we're doing here. What do the institutional investors think? And we try to line up with that. And they do change their minds. Data does change. The thing is, can you tell? Can you read the wave? It's hard to see the wind. You can feel the wind. You can see the effect of the wind. The trees are moving, the flags are moving, but it's hard to read the wind. You have to look at other things, don't you, to read the wind. So this is very complex. Okay. Okay. This is very complex. But what we're reading here is, so I can't survey let's say 1,000 individual institutional investors that are putting $1 trillion in, we'll call it bets, based on their best guess of future interest rates at the Bank of Canada. I can't do a survey like that. But I can read the market. Right? I have the flag. I'm watching the trees. I know the seasonality of the winds, right? Like in California, there's a time when the Central Valley heats up and it pulls cold air off the ocean in San Francisco that creates all the fog, and that cold air then travels over across San Francisco and over the hills and down into the Central Valley, which is much farther inland, and it's flat. Okay. And it turns and twists and it heads down south. Meanwhile, the Central Valley, and being further south, heats it up. So now it rises and then it comes back and it blows back across. Los Angeles is hot, dry air, and it goes back out towards the ocean now. See, from San Francisco, it came from the ocean. Now it's blowing out toward the ocean. Now it's not every day, but there are seasons based on the temperature of the earth, from the tilt of the earth, from the direction to the sun. And it's quite reliable. We call it a season. And there are times in Los Angeles where head high, dude, head high. Why? The wind is blowing out to sea, pushing the waves up. Well, that's good surfing. That's good surfing. But you can't see any of this. Just you're looking out at the waves and they're like, head high, bro. Head high, dude. Dude, head high, bro. Right? And you got to get your board and get out there. Put the weed down and grab your board. I've only gone surfing once and it was miserable. It was so funny too. I was so freaking cold. And then I'm out there and I'm like, soon as I got, you got to remember, I'm from rural Canada, from wheat fields, right? So I'm out there in the ocean in the seaweed, and I'm like, this is gross. And oh, yuck, there's seaweed, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, it hit my brain. It just hit my brain. I can't see below my feet. Like I can see seaweed, and then it just goes down into the abyss. I'm like, what's in the seaweed? Fish. What eats fish? Sharks. What eats legs? Sharks. My legs are touching the seaweed. And all of a sudden, I got on board. And I turned back to the beach. I'm like, I don't even want to put my arms in the water. I'm trying to paddle back with my fingertips, right? So funny. Yeah. I can skateboard, right? Look at this. I can skateboard. Yeah, baby. This is one of the rarest skateboards in the world, sitting right next to my desk. Look at that, bro. Paul Peralta from, check this out. I know it's in reverse, but check this out. You can figure it out. 1984 with the independent trucks. And check that out. Ramp wheels before Tony Hawk. Yeah, dude. Yeah, but I also have the rarest Tony Hawk skateboard in the world. It's right there too. But anyways, stay out of the ocean if you're from Saskatchewan. You don't belong there. So, anyways, what do we have here? We have the facts. Right now, you can say, yeah, our analysis shows that the Bank of Canada is expected to raise interest rates in March or April. But that can change. That's what's priced in, by the way. If someone ever gives you something vague, it's a vagary. You're like, what do you mean it's priced in? When? When is it priced in? Uh, Again, that's smokescreen for 90% of people that say stuff like that have no idea what they're talking about. Because think about it. If it's priced in, then what can you do about it? It's already priced in. It already happened. I can't do anything about it. I'm like, you just don't know what's going on. I'm trying to build you up. You are the smartest person in the room, or you shouldn't be trading and investing. Okay? Because the smartest person in the room has 99% of the advantage. It's not like you're 2% better, you're 1,000% better. Right? The one-eyed king in the valley of the blind, that one eye is pretty important. It's only one more eye, but it's exponentially better than no eyes, you know? I don't even care if that one eye is colorblind. Huh? You're like, well, I only got one eye, it's colorblind and it's lazy. And it kind of just fades from left to right for every so often. You're like, dude, better than no eyes at all. A lot better. Okay. So, anyways, you're way better than everybody else. I want you to know that. Okay. If you use the data. It's hard though, isn't it? You have to change your behavior. That's hard. Oh, look. Yeah. Suthu, King, Raymond. Oh, it took you. Oh, maybe it didn't hang around after. Let me check it out. No, this should take you in. Hopefully this doesn't screw up our stream. See. No, it works, Raymond. There it is. There you go, Raymond. Totally works, bro. Oh, great, Raymond. Now I have to log back in. Sorry, Raymond over on YouTube. Captain Cook. Oh, Raymond, you troublemaker.
Spike alert, 90 seconds until Canada VOC's Governor Macklin speech is released.
That was 3 voices. It's getting worse. All right. How do you log in? You put in your email. That's it, right? Now I got to pull up I'll do it from my phone. Oh, nice, right? And that's it. This is how long it takes. That's it. Now you're in. Everybody here is welcome to join. That's it. That you don't have to pay money or anything. So we'll get back into here. So I did all my rah-rah speeches. It's the second half. You have the ability to be great or you can stay mediocre. It's your call. The blue pill and the red pill analogy. Well, the truth, the reality is you have all the data. It's still hard work. But if you're strong enough, you can get out of bed and do what needs to get done. Because now there's no excuses. That's the big thing. And you might hear me, but the day your soul grasps onto that idea, because now you can get to the point where it's you. You're not missing anything. You can't say, well, if I only, oh, well, if I find a different strategy. There you go, Raymond. Oh, if I find a different strategy. Oh, if I only was better at Elliott Wave. Oh, if. That's all BS now. It's all BS. So it's do or do not. There is no try. And that's the hard part. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm not saying, oh, you start using TradeRs and you're going to be a success. No, but you can't be a success if you're not using TradeRs. Like you have to have a basis. You have to have a foundation. You have to have a logic and intelligence and even a routine. And really a staff. If I'm on your staff every morning, it's helpful. I'm not going to make you a success. But the thing is, do you make the changes? It's human behavior now. It's not that you don't know enough. You know way more than even professional traders. I'm telling you. I know tons of people that manage hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Not one, many. And you know more than they do. That is the raw, honest truth. But they make good money. They make fabulous money, in fact. So if you have better data and you make smarter decisions, then what the heck's going on if you're not hitting your goals, financial goals? Because what we do is financial goals, right? Is your goal to be more confident? Yeah. Does TradeRs help you? Yeah. Does the human aspect of TradeRs help? Oh, yeah, sure. But what's the ultimate goal? what a lot of YouTubers call financial freedom. That's bullshit, but whatever. This is a small business and you need sustainability. So here's the interesting part. You are now, we are always, by the way, because I'm here too. I'm here with you. I'm not better than you. I'm not greater than you. All of that stuff. What I'm saying is you get to another point in your career in which now you're competing. You're not treading water. You're not drowning. You're not the bait. You're not the chum. You're out there competing with the best because you're one of the best. But that change from I'm just an amateur retail trader on my laptop in my kitchen or in my mom's basement, or even worse, your mom's boyfriend's basement. And you're like, I'm not a real trader. You just know it. You tell yourself all the day, I want to become a real trader one day. Imposter syndrome, right? So now the challenge has changed. Do you have the guts to do it? Or is it a dream? I had a vision once. I'm going to be successful. Really? Yeah. Oh, good. Nice vision. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And gosh darn it, I deserve to be a rich Forex trader. Yep. Whatever, bro. Now get it done. Right? Yeah. So, rah speech, not a beatdown speech. I'm just, you got to get to the realization is like you have it now. You have it. You have everything you need to succeed. So if I wasn't achieving my goals and I was in that situation, I would get pissed off. What the hell? And then if you're really, really, really healthy psychologically, and many of us are not, I start my book that way, don't I? Don't I start my book out with a story like that? Like if you were handing out flyers in the middle of downtown New York City and you're like, hey, do you want to do something in which 95% of people fail? Do you want to do that? You want to put your life savings on something that has a track record of 95% failure? How many people would sign up for that? But you did. What the hell's wrong with you? You're mentally disturbed like me. This is why we like each other. But you got to then, if you're truly healthy emotionally, you would say, you know what? That's it. This is a radical departure. And this is a good thing to do on Canada Day, by the way. This is a radical departure. I have everything and I'm not hitting my goals. There's nothing missing and I'm not hitting my goals. So that means it's me. And if it's me, I'm in freak out mode because I know I'm a winner. I know I'm a champion. I know I deserve it because I will do whatever it takes to succeed. Okay. Over the weekend, I'll use my life. I worked 20 hours a day over the weekend. I sent my wife and daughter off to the beach. They're hanging out by the beach. They're having fish tacos and drinking Trulies. And I worked from 7 o'clock in the morning to midnight and then got up and did it again and then got up and did it again. Now, all I'm saying is I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Or back when I was able to go to Harvard, I remember doing a speech to the group here, and I'm like, look, this is a full-time thing, and it's going to take me 5 years. And I said, you know what? 5 years is going to disappear like that. But every single day is going to be hell. But I'm like, it's no different than Forex. And I said, I'm willing to do this because I might learn something I don't know. I'm going to go study economics and finance for 5 years. Full time. I have to give up my summers. I have to give up my days. I have to give up my nights. I have to give up my weekends. But it's only 5 years. And I honestly believe that. It's only 5 years. And then every day was truly hell. It required sacrifice, sacrifice. But you know what? Again, what I'm trying to get across here is I'm willing to do anything at any cost to improve. And so all I'm asking you is to get to that point, right? Where you cross the line, you're like, I'm done treading water. That's it. That's bullshit. I'm done. I am going to succeed. I have every tool, fundamentally, technically. I can read the sentiment. I can read the past. I can read the future. I know what institutional investors are doing. I have a great coaching staff that works on my team. My trading is a small business. And yeah, maybe I'm working out of my kitchen on a laptop, but I'm Groot. I am big. You're just as powerful and as intelligent as a multi-billion-dollar institutional investor. And you are going to succeed because you're going to work your ass off. And that's the minimal acceptable performance. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll do it together. Together, you and I. We got it. We got this. But this is the serious part of the speech, if you will. If you have everything and you're not achieving your goals, do you have that capacity and that drive to make it happen? Can you imagine doing this 25 years from now and you're still working 20 hours a day? What the hell? Yeah, well, you better love it. I love it. I love it. I love what we do. I tell charities, I'm like, dude, this is great. I want to manage, I want to influence your endowment. I want to help you. I want to show you how to do this right. And I'll do it for free. Why would I do it for free? It's charity. Why would I ask for money? Yeah. Do it for free because I love doing it. If it has a good cause, boom. Vincent says, I'm willing to do that. And I like the fact that you step up like that for sure. It's so important. It's so important because what you're doing is you're talking to a different part of your brain, a different part of your psyche, Vincent. So here's this thing, even though we can't see each other, and this is streaming in our group, it's streaming on YouTube. There's this part of your psyche that says, if you get in front of the classroom and speak in front of the other children, you might look stupid and people might think you're not cool. Maybe you won't be accepted. Maybe you'll be rejected. And all of these things psychologically are incredibly powerful. So what you're doing is you're standing in front of the class and you're like, I'm making a commitment. Now, religion knows this. And very often they use that. I don't like that part of religion, but they know if they can get you to admit in front of the group, it's powerful, right? In this case, you're saying, I'm going to do it. You're signing a social contract with yourself, Vincent. Or you're a pathological liar. Are you a pathological liar, Vincent? Did mama raise a fool? See, don't ask a question you don't know the answer to, right? Well, what if that's a lie, Vincent? Because you're a pathological liar. Yeah. I knew you would lie, Vincent. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, cool, right? Good. So good for you. Good for you. tough as nails. So anyways, I think it's a fundamental psychological importance. And I'm talking from even my own experience in those early days when I did go through a very rough patch psychologically and even financially because I wasn't trading very well. And I gave up my dream job. I gave up a huge salary. I gave up benefits and gave up all this stuff. And now I have this hard life and I'm just losing money. I'm like, what the hell? I'm supposed to be making money, not losing money. And the best thing I ever did was go on a business planning retreat, a business planning retreat with myself. And I did all the financials and fundamentals and basically, technical analysis of my trading business, if you will, technical and fundamental analysis of the business of being a trader. And I pulled things together. I really learned a different understanding of the trading business, being the life and business of being a trader. And it changed my view. It changed everything, in fact. It's why I started FX Bootcamp. I said I need to surround myself with successful, like-minded, driven people. And here we are, 25 years later. I'm still sharing all my secrets. I'm bribing you to hang out with me because I want to know you. I want us to succeed together. That's why I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm bribing you to hang out with me by sharing everything I know. Everything. Nothing's held back. And now I built this. It's extraordinary. And I guess I should point out too, you're like, Wayne, I want to do this, but I don't have that kind of money. I started a program, just so you know. Okay. You trade now that's too little. 3 trades a day, mini lots, 2 mini lots a day. Or if that's not enough, like you could do 5 trades a day with 1 mini lot. Okay. But whatever. So what would trade ours be if you linked your trading account with us? You'd get an 85% discount. It costs you $29 a day, $29 a month, not $200 a month. Because if you're international, your trading account is with Traders Way. So you just link your brokerage. It literally takes 2 minutes. Would you like an 85% discount? This is me giving you everything I have. Someone's got to pay for it, but why don't you just have Traders Way pay for it? Is that fair? Takes 2 minutes of your time. Oh, Vincent, good question. I'm going to answer that in a couple of ways. One of them, let's go to youtube.com/FX Bootcamp. I'll answer your question, but I want to give you the most detailed. Oh, I haven't seen this in a long time.
Joining us again from Atlanta with some tips on trading and foreign money is Wayne McDonald. He's chief currency coach at Forex's FX Bootcamp. Wayne, good to see you. Thanks for coming back. Last time we kind of shortchanged you, so we're glad you could make it back. Basically, details of what the bootcamp is all about first.
Well, first of all, FX Bootcamp is an organization that teaches people how to trade currencies. But what makes FX Bootcamp unique is that we teach people live while the market is.
How funny, huh? Do it, zoinks. Okay. MACD. Why MACD? Why slow MACD down? I do it on purpose for sure. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's out of order though, isn't it? It's 4 different videos of about 20 minutes each. Okay, just a little over an hour. And it breaks the methodology down in great detail and furious anger. Those that tried to poison and destroy my brothers. Yeah. I don't know why I get into that speech. And you will know I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance on thee. Hey, great speech. So there's one way. Okay. All right. Earn my early days. And I don't, I mean, look, I did this 17 years ago, right? Cool. In my early careers, in my early career of trading, people would ask me, they would say, so how were the markets? How are the markets? How were the markets today? That kind of stuff. And I didn't really know how to answer. I mean, when you're trading the 1 minute chart for 20 hours straight, you're like, well, it was up and then it was down and then it was way down, but then it reversed and went back up. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I realized that's not what they were asking. They're asking, was it up today or down today? Or is it trending up or is it trending down this week, this month, this quarter? And I'm like, oh, and I started to discover multiple time frames by thinking about how to answer the question. And I said, oh, and then I started watching multiple time frames, but it was difficult to go from a daily chart to a 4-hour chart to a 1-hour chart to a 30-minute chart to a 15-minute chart to a 5-minute chart. And I honestly did all that. And I had to look at them all individually. And then I tried to like line them all up. And we all know that that doesn't work. But, I had to go through the iteration myself. And then I said, well, what I need to do is be able to map multiple time frames on one chart. Oh, okay. So let me put this back to TradeRs. And so that's funny. Boop. No. Boop. We'll put it here while we're watching it. All right. So the attempt to watch multiple time frames. Nice. And then I said, well, why on one chart would we have multiple time frames? What does it mean? Now, I went back to the original question. How are the markets right now? What is the longer term answer? Generally, what happened today, generally, what happened this week, generally, what happened this quarter, right? Generally speaking, are the markets bullish or bearish? They're not thinking minute by minute, second by second, candle by candle. So I'm like, oh, there's a longer term to all of this. What is it? How do you describe the wind? In particular, how do you describe the Santa Ana winds that are based on seasonality? They occur, let's say, 4 months out of the year, but don't occur the rest of the year. Like, how do you describe a phenomenon that isn't persistent, but cyclical, if you will, and invisible? The invisible hand, as Adam Smith said, right? Was that Adam Smith, the invisible hand? Yeah. So anyways, I said, ooh, that's the market. What is the market doing? But what price is doing in the moment, momentum is how I kind of thought about it. It's not quite the right word, but it was my word. Remember, I'm self-taught. So I'm like, oh, there's a difference between what's happening right this second and what's happening in general. And then I realized, well, this is sort of the ebb and flow of up, 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 down, down, buy, up, up, down, buy, up, up, down, buy. If I look at the longer term, the market, I know it's up. So now my job is to buy dips in an up market. Now, this sounds silly, but it's powerful. In particular, at this time, I would buy when things were already moving, not dips, but I'd buy on the rally and I'd make money for a while. Then I'd give it back and get knocked out of break even. And I'd do it over and over again. If I was lucky, it was break even and I was getting ulcers and all kinds of stuff. And like this, I gotta change. And so now suddenly when I saw giant green candles, I'd wait for the pullback. It changed from chasing price to ambushing price. It was a radical change. So then I'm like, oh, I got to make this easier. I need a way quantitatively to visualize what the market is doing. Okay, Vincent? And I need a way to visualize what price is doing. And I decided to use oscillators and moving averages. And I tried every oscillator, every setting of oscillator, every combination of oscillators, and combinations of the same oscillator. But I also tried every moving average setting. So 21 EMA, 21 SMA. Is there a different kind? You know, like I just tried everything. And I am ridiculous. So when I said I tried everything. Ridiculous. I spent months testing to come up with the crap I came up with. That's how I came up with 21. Now, I can even tell you how I came up with 21. For me, it worked when I used 20 and 50. But one day during a meditation after using 20, 50 for, I don't know, 2 years, at the time I was studying Fibonacci and I'm like, wait, 2155. Maybe it works because of Fibonacci. Maybe I just stumbled across something as basically Fibonacci settings. And you got to remember, you're taught when you learn Fibonacci that it's magic. It's the power of the universe, like just total nonsense. But I'm like, I don't know. But if it's the power of the universe and the laws of nature making Fibonacci work, what if I change my settings to 2155, which they are now? They've been there ever since, right? Well, it didn't hurt. So I'm like, well, maybe it works because of that. Of course, it's not true, but whatever, right? That's how I got to these numbers. I tested and tried everything. So I ended up with the 5.8 to measure price. I use a 2155 to measure the market. So I separate price from the market. Always have. I do not use moving averages as a signal. I use them to measure the market and the price. Different attitude, different mindset, just different focus. Charts do not tell me what to do. I tell me what to do. The charts are for analytics. So they show me what the market is doing. So I know what the market is doing. They show me what price is doing. So I know what price is doing. Go. Then I decided, now I'm answering your question even more directly now, Vincent, why the lagging MACD? So I purposely, after studying every oscillator and every setting of oscillator, I even paid money to get an old training course from the 1980s from Gerald Appel, the inventor of the moving average convergence divergence indicator, MACD. So the guy that invented it taught me, Vincent, which is good because most people don't even understand the point of it. It's just crazy, right? Like most gurus on YouTube, they're full of crap. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. They don't understand the math. They don't understand the economics. They don't understand the history. They're chatterboxes. So Gerald Appel taught me MACD, and most people use MACD wrong. Cool. First of all, they use MACD with the standardized settings, which Gerald Appel didn't create. So some monkey head somewhere in the history of the world put a MACD indicator on the trading platform as one of a million different, indicators, and for some reason put in some stupid default settings that made no sense to Gerald Appel, makes no sense to me, yet 3/4 of the trading world use those settings because they don't understand. So they use it as a signal, and that's why they're not a bull, they're not a bear, they're a bat, a BAT, a broke ass trader, because they want MACD to tell them what to do. They don't even understand the settings are screwed up. So they don't deserve the success. Cool. Okay, so let's go back. After studying all the oscillators and the mathematics behind the oscillators, and sometimes even the intent from the inventor of these oscillators, I knew what I needed MACD to tell me. Much different attitude, right, Vincent? It's just that I know it's not, again, this probably sounds arrogant to some. No, I struggled through all of this, blood, sweat, and tears for years. But once I put in the effort and the blood, sweat, and tears for years, I got to a level where I understood. And then when I was there, then I said, well, I'm going to use stochastics and MACD because I know the math behind the other things. They're okay, but they're either sometimes not accurate or they're just redundant to what's like RSI and Stokes. Dude, just pick one. Come on, dude. But if you don't understand the math, then you don't understand either of them. Then none of them are important. So I chose stochastics and MACD because of the math, not because of some signal. Then, because I knew my intent of why I wanted to use MACD and Stokes, then I can adjust the settings to fulfill my goal because I'm just trying to read the data of the market. I'm not asking stochastics to tell me to buy or sell. I'm changing the settings to give me the information I need to make an informed decision about market behavior. So I'll start with stochastics. Stochastics, and by the way, this data is in here. Even though you don't see MACD, it's in here. It's in here. Okay. So anyway, stochastics measures the ability of the candle on the time frame that you're looking at, its ability to make a higher high relative to a higher low, not make a higher high to a relative higher low, to not make a higher high and make a low, then to not make a higher high and then make a lower low, and then not make, and then make a lower high and then a lower low. It's the relationship of the candles to each other. And it's looking at the highest high and highest low of every candle. So are you trending up, sideways, or reversing down? This is important to know. It's measuring the candles. I've heard all kinds of stupid things from YouTube gurus, like it measures the buyers and the sellers. And dude, it sounds great. It's stupid. Once again, it's like somebody saying, I don't understand what's going on, but it's all priced in. I guess we'll just diversify by buying everything. Dude, buying everything is not a position. Okay. So, anyways, we're measuring the performance of candles relative to each other. Okay. This is important. But does stochastics tell me the trend? No, it's telling me the price action. Cool. So we could be in a bullish day, a bullish week, a bullish month. We can be in a bullish trend, right? But there will always be times inside of that bullish trend in which price is not going up. In fact, it's falling. But is it reversing the longer term trend? Sometimes yes, but almost always no, because a trend usually goes up or down. I mean, that's what a trend is. So by definition, if you have a strong trend, even if it's a bullish trend and you're looking at red candles right now, there's a much higher probability, because the trend is up, that the red candles will turn green again. And therefore, you're going to use all your other technical analysis like pivot points, role reversal, price action, Elliott wave, whatever you use. There's a very high probability that in the future, it will turn back to green. Your job is to figure out exactly where and when it turns green and get back in the trend. Buy the dip in an uptrend. So I'm like, oh my God, that's so helpful. So then I'm like, ooh, I need something that measures the market now. But the market's slower. The market is the general trend. You see, Vincent? Now I'm answering your question. Why have it lag so much? Because I need it to lag. Because I'm using it not as a signal, but as a mathematical algorithm to measure the health of the current trend. And a trend that's expanding is healthy. A trend that is contracting is less healthy. And a trend that has crossed is dead. So expanding, contracting. I'm like, well, I use moving averages for that, don't I? So my MACD settings are measuring two moving averages and telling you whether they're converging, cooling off, the trend is cooling off, or diverging, the trend is heating up. So I'm going to use the 2155 because that's what I measure the market with, is the 2155 exponential moving averages, but that's what MACD does. And all I'm trying to do, all it is telling me, the only thing that MACD is telling me is whether the two moving averages are getting closer or pulling apart. Closer is bad, pulling apart is good. Accelerating, decelerating. That's all it's telling me. So now I can look at it with one eyeball and go, ooh, the uptrend is up, but is it as up as it was 20 minutes ago? Or is it cooling off? I mean, it doesn't make me a bear, but if it's slowing down, I need to know, especially if it's slowing down at the end of a market. It's slowing down as we're approaching pivot points. It's slowing down as we hit goals and targets and R2s and R3s. And I'm like, oh my God, I can read the market now and I can read the price. So if the market is slowing down and price starts reversing and I'm at a pivot point in which is my target for the period, high probability I should take profit. Joe rootinest, tootinest trader in the world. Yeah. And oh my God, it made sense. It was like lightning in a bottle moment. "22 years ago. I don't put the MACD on the chart now, although, and I'm telling you, this chart has MACD in it. I just don't post it. But I need to know MACD. Aiden needs to know MACD. Do you need me to put it on the chart to prove it to you? Why? You're just looking at up, down, or sideways. Like, what do you care? Now, I tell you how we do it, right? It should be down here. And yeah, look, 21.55.8. Look, literally, I tell you, Aiden's doing MACD for you in real time on every single currency pair and asset that you trade, like stock indices, crypto, commodities, all the Forex pairs and all the crosses. We're doing it on 3 time frames. Dude, amazing, right? And we're doing it, we're just not posting it. But why? Because Aiden's analysis is precisely my analysis. I don't put MACD on my chart anymore because I can see it with my mind. I can look at it. I know what MACD mathematically is telling me, and I can just look at it. I got it. Got it. Look, they're converging. Got it. I can tell you in an uptrend, okay, MACD is well above the water line, but the 2 signals lines have crossed down, so I'm bullish, I'm conservative. I can see it because I know the math. I can see the stochastics because I know the math. I can look at it. I'm like, look, we are now making on a, let's say, a 5-minute chart. We're now making a lower high and a lower low on a 5-minute candle. Oh, stochastics just crossed. I don't need to take up real estate, but it's because I know how to trade. And I adjusted the settings because they answer questions I give to them as algorithms. What is price doing relative to the other candles right this second? And what is the market doing in general? What is the trend and what is the momentum? Oh, the trend is up, but momentum is down. Cool. I'm going to buy a dip. And it just radically changed the world for me, technically. And then the next thing that radically changed everything for me was going through the process of studying for, and passing the Series 3 examination by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and the National Futures Association, a test for professionals in which 75% of people fail, and it's even designed for you to fail. And it's all about fundamentals. Whoa. And I'm like, oh my God. Not only am I measuring the chart to figure out what's happening, I had no idea that there was a reason this is happening. Oh, there's a reason. I didn't know. So then I obsess. I don't know if you figured out this about me. I'm obsessive. And when I find something important, I obsess. And I think it's important. I think I'm probably ADD. I'm probably spectrum. I'm probably smart. And all of this just kind of adds up. It's quirky, it's weird. But I think there's a level of obsession we all need to be. I'm probably good at anything, right? And I in fact intend to write about obsession. I'm so obsessed with obsession. I'd like to research obsession and find out everybody that wants to become a Forex trader is probably broken. And for some reason, we want to succeed at trading Forex, even though 95% of people don't. What is it? Are we obsessive? Are we dreamers? Do you just want your mommy to love you more? Was it because your fourth grade school teacher had you walk in front of the class and everybody laughed at you? Or was it because your fourth grade teacher was beautiful and you were secretly in love with her? Or did she say, "Oh, Vincent, you're such a smart, clever little boy," and it felt good? And now you obsess on success because you want somebody to say, "Vincent, you're such a clever person." It feels good. Dude, don't disregard these things. It's important, isn't it? But the thing is, for some reason, we want to do, which is seemingly impossible, and yet we believe we can do it. So, what I'm doing is giving you the tools and the skills and the knowledge and experience, decades worth, and I'm handing them to you in a silver platter so that you can achieve whatever that needs to get done. But you have to earn it. Yeah. You don't have to go to Harvard for 5 years. You don't have to study and pass the Series 3. You don't need to be any of this stuff, but you have it right in front of you. Are you coachable? Do you learn? Are you independent? Do you obsess? I don't know if obsession is just me being a quirky bird, or if it's a requirement. I don't know, but I can't imagine this is easy. Have you found this easy yet? I also believe I'm not smart. I think I have to work 2 or 3 times harder than everybody else. And maybe that's why I learned to obsess, because it takes me, 20 hours to learn something that other people take 5 hours to learn. If anything, I'm slow. But my survival technique is, well, just work harder. I also believe that is something good that I was given from the Canadian society, in particular farmers in rural Canada. If if there's one thing I certainly learned from the prairies of Canada, is just work hard. Just work hard. There is no end. There is no vacation. There's no reward. There's no trophy. You get up when it's dark and it's cold, and you work until it's dark and it's cold, and everything in the middle is dark and cold. And you should not complain about it. Oh, Canadians complain, but we complain about hockey and politicians. That's it. We don't even complain about how cold it is. We don't complain about that because we all know. Oh, it's a bitch out there, eh? Oh, for sure. And that's it. We're done. Now what? Bitch about politics and hockey. So my secret to success, to tackle my slowness, is to work really hard. And maybe that's why I learned how to obsess. But here's the thing, once I got it, I got it. So I don't know your style. I don't know your wants. I don't know your needs. I don't know your goals. Do you need to make $1 million to succeed? Or is 100,000 a year enough? Are you trying to trade all day and become a hedge fund manager? Or do you need a second income? Is this a retirement income? Do you want to trade once, hold trades for a week because you can't be here all day every day? Then great, let's swing trade, baby. I love swing trading. If you want to be more like an institutional manager, you got to You got to think more than a day ahead, a week ahead. You're thinking more quarterly. Cool. We can do that. That's position trading. Beautiful. I do that for institutions. I do that for charitable endowments. I do that for my own pension fund. Great. Sweet. Great. We do this. This is what we do. You can scalp. Fine. You can day trade. Fine. You can swing trade. Fine. You can position trade. Fine. I think you need to be able to do all of it because it all works. So now we're together. And you can log in and say, what's going on? Look, Kiwi strong again. I went from the weakest to the strongest. How do you know? Look, we did 15 calculations and Kiwi went from the strongest to the weakest. Done. Yen is weak. Good. Crypto's hot. Good. See, what should you look at? Go check out crypto. This used to take a long time. You just read the entire market. Oh, you like trading euro dollar? Not today, you don't. Okay. But Aussie yen, for sure. Okay. Crypto? Yeah, for sure. Look, stay away from Ripple. Cardano? Yeah. Solana? Yeah. Ethereum and Bitcoin? No. Okay. You're like, well, I don't trade those. Okay, go find something else to do. What do you want to do? You want to do metals? Platinum up. Gold up. Cool. You're like, okay, I might do gold. Cool. How lovely is that? But that's just what is happening. This is all mathematics. Okay. To get this calculation or to get this number, this index that we create synthetically, we have to do 15 calculations every 3 seconds. Okay. Good enough. That's what is. The why might be quite different. And we have lots of different whys. But it used to be very difficult to understand, well, why are things happening? What's unusual today? What's going on?
Good morning. Let us get you up to speed on the current market
Now it's
landscape.
easy.
Today's market sentiment is neutral and indecisive as the daily risk score hovers near zero. This immediate flatness diverges from the broader weekly trend, which remains risk on, though it aligns with the monthly outlook that has been generally negative. A significant jump in the U.S. 10-year yield is the dominant force right now, strengthening the U.S. dollar and weighing on the euro despite signs of a cooling U.S. labor market. 1. U.S. private sector employment data disappointed today, with the ADP report showing only 98,000 jobs added versus the 118,000 expected. In the tech space, Meta announced plans to launch a cloud business to sell its excess AI computing power, which is supporting tech stocks. Meanwhile, geopolitical tensions seem to be easing as reports suggest the US and Iran are communicating effectively. Finally, the euro is under pressure after missing inflation forecasts, hitting a one-year low against the British pound. Biggest movers right now: corn, soybeans, wheat, VIX, and NASDAQ 100 are up.
Look, in my humble opinion, because this gets rewritten every half an hour, I might have changed it to 45 minutes, but this gets rewritten all the time. Aiden understood quantitatively changes in market conditions. He understood the impact and the relationship of these changes to other assets, but he also understands the context. Like, I didn't tell him about Meta. I didn't know Meta announced that. I didn't. Aiden did. He understands what's going on in, where are they? Qatar? Forget where the talks are going on. But he understands the context of geopolitical discussions in real time and understands its impact on the market. And it's watching, you know, the euro is under pressure after missing inflation forecast, hitting a 1-year low against the British pound. He understands relationships, context, economics, quantitative analysis. I think like this report, honestly, is better than any financial reporter's analysis of what's going on right now. So wherever you go for your news, your reports, your blogosphere, this is better. That is incredible. And a machine is doing this a couple of times an hour. Absolutely phenomenal. It took me a long time to teach AI to do this because it doesn't just inherently know, like, oh, well, that's what ChatGPT says. No, it doesn't. But like the relationships and all that, but to give it context was the next big breakthrough for me. And that requires a neural network to put the data into context is a much different thing just than let's say an if then algorithm. Okay. So amazing. Amazing. So look how fast that is now. You're like, so what is going on? That is an amazing summary. Cool. What else is going on? Back below 75, 17 and a half. Bitcoin, gold. It was at 3,900 something. So that's back up. Okay. Below 70. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, we have the war speech. Yeah. 101 is still very high, and this is still quite high. So not good. Like this is way up. That's bad. This is flat, but it's a bad number. This is down, and that's great. This is up. That's a better recovery. This is still too low. VIX is way up, but still an okay number relative to where you were. Historically, I'd rather see this at a 12 than a 17, but 17 is better than 20, and all that kind of stuff. And by the end of the year, we're going to be at S&P 500. It will be at 8,200, I think was our target. But we can look at that anytime we want, just like that. So when you hear an expert on Bloomberg, like I literally heard this person on Bloomberg a couple of days ago, and she said the bank's target was 8,000 on the S&P 500 by the end of the year. I'm like, really? Not 8,001? What is this? A Hail Mary? Hey, what's the target? I don't know. 8,000. 8,000? Oh boy. Why don't you have it down to the point? Or a penny if you're doing like Forex or gold or something. Like about roughly? What are you guessing? Up? What does that tell you? No technical analysis. None. So there's their weakness. They might be fantastic at fundamentals, and their macroeconomics might be amazing. And I don't disagree. But I also do technical analysis, and I'm like, well, you have no precision. You might get out early. You might get out late. You might, you don't know. How terrifying for that bank where they're like, I don't know, up. We're pretty sure it's up. We're quite certain we'll close higher by the end of the year. Good. What's the price? We have no freaking clue. I'm pointing out that you're better, you're smarter, and you're better looking online. Yeah. And mediocrity is no longer acceptable. That's what we're doing in the second half here. Mediocrity is now unacceptable if it ever was before. We're going through a lot of the speeches. We got a whole bunch of things in here that probably need to be deleted. Whoa, dupe. Are they all dupes? They look like dupes. 48. Oh, they're different variations. 56, 48, 54. Oh my God. All right, we'll figure it out. This looks right to me, though. So yeah, a lot of speeches going on. So we're going to get this news. Let me tell you how much faster than we're going to get. Oh, I'm looking at YouTube, and they're not even on the countdown yet. I think YouTube is now a full minute late, maybe more.
Spike alert, 90 seconds until United States ISM manufacturing PMI is released.
I will figure that out. I'll figure that out. The second voice, we're working on it. I'll figure it out. It's annoying, but not the end of the world, right? It's not a broken arrow. We'll just fire the broken arrow. So anyways, for those that are still on YouTube, there looks like there's dozens of you. Come to traders.com. It's free. And inside of Traders, we have our own webinar room. We're in a private webinar room streaming to YouTube, and you're a minute or more behind because of YouTube, not because I designed it that way. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to put you in a sales funnel. This is free, and I don't need to convince you to upgrade, because if you ain't got no money, doesn't matter. You're not going to upgrade. And if you don't use the information, it doesn't matter. You won't upgrade. But this is amazing for free. So, like, swing by. Have nothing to lose. Wait for it.
United States ISM manufacturing PMI, actual 53.3, missed forecast.
Okay. So
United States ISM manufacturing PMI, actual 53.3, missed forecast.
I love the dupe.
United States ISM manufacturing PMI, actual 53.3, missed forecast.
That was 3. I'll have to tell him if he does it again. So he gave it 3 times. Okay. I'm going to report this. He reported it twice and then gave us the results 3 times. Hey, better than 0. And by the way, that's fast. We worked really hard getting that data that fast. Cool. So now we're right up there, top of the game. All right. Now put this into context. Europe and UK are at 48. So we missed. This is terrible news, right? Well, Europe is in economic contraction. Raising interest rates would be insult to injury. So a lot of people think the ECB should raise interest rates. Why? Their economy is contracting by one measure, and that is ISM. All right. In the United States of America, oh, we missed it. It's a terrible number. We're 53.3. We are clearly expanding. Yeah, we're not expanding as fast as we guessed. But who cares about the guess? The fact is that manufacturing sector of the United States is growing. It is. Okay, we don't need import changes. Is he going to let this? Okay, good. Stock. Yeah, this is what we want. Ooh, look at the drawdown. Ooh. That's prettier. Which one do we want? Okay, we don't need fuel production. But by the way, look at this. We're peaking out, and collapse. I'm just looking at their slight formatting changes and everything. Why? Come on, Aiden. And then building permits, treasuries. See, check this out. Treasuries falling, interest rates going up, right? Yields going up. Yeah, we saw that for sure. Stock investment by foreigners. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't ask him to do this, but I'm going to utilize this. Why is this important? Foreigners are buying Japanese stocks. Dude, I think YouTube, by the way, is like 3 minutes behind. Wow. Because a foreigner needs to buy Japanese yen, and then with the Japanese yen, buy the stock. So this is part of GDP. C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Yeah, foreigners are buying. It's Forex. Cool. So we'll keep that sucker. The money supply. Do we really care that much? Bond investors are likely way more significant. So I will leave that. And then this also impacts trade balance, but this is Australia here. And we don't have enough data, so we'll get the data. But all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So here's what you can do. You can sit on this page in silence like a monk trading the markets. Look at this, don't look at that. And remember, it's relative. So yen is weak. It's a little bit weak. Kiwi is strong. It's quite strong, not very strong. But if you were going to day trade or scalp Kiwi yen, Aussie yen is where you'd start. Okay. Your next best choice, you could do Euro or Swissy on the sell side. So Swissy Aussie, Swissy Kiwi would be something that I would inherently do. If you're like, well, Wayne, I'm not really very good at doing that kind of stuff. Like, how can I? Oh my God, it's right there. It's doing it for you. Kiwi yen, Kiwi Swissy, Aussie yen, Aussie Swissy. Like, dude, is that what I just said? Shut the back door. So it automatically does all that for you? Yeah. Euro Aussie, Euro Kiwi. And then it quantifies it to give you this, right? The confidence score. All right. Or you can look at it this way. Oh, snap, dude. That's too easy. Don't do it that way. It's too easy. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. All right. Or the other page, this page here is designed for you to sit on. And what you do is you load this page, you click the on button, and then you minimize it. Okay. And while you're trading, while you got your eyes on the charts, because you've already analyzed, you've already decided, I just showed you in seconds the top 5 things you should be looking at right this second. So now you're going to go do your proper analysis on those 5 things, right? Cool. So open up your charts, do some proper technical analysis. But again, it's the easiest thing to do. If you're a bull, you buy a dip. Really, that's not that hard. So now you have to have the patience and discipline to do it. But while you're staring at your chart and while you're waiting, because you're going to get itchy, you're going to want to do something. It might be an hour before you pull that trigger. You listen.
Copper. Tariff delay tempers upside. TD Securities. Breaking U.S. ISM manufacturing PMI dropped to 53.3 in June. U.S. construction spending for May 0.0% versus 0.1% expected. U.S. ISM manufacturing PMI for June 53.3 versus 54.0 estimate.
United States ISM manufacturing new orders index fell from previous 56.8 to 56 in June.
United States ISM manufacturing prices paid came in at 73, below expectations, 79 in June.
Swiss franc gains as U.S. dollar eases on Fed Chair Warsh's remarks. Breaking. Fed Chair. Warsh says they are not happy with inflation above 2%.
Eurozone inflation eases to 2.8%. Gold. Forecast cut, but constructive case intact. OCBC.
So people are like, oh my God, Warsh said they're not happy about inflation. That means he's going to raise interest rates. No, he said he wasn't happy. Because before all of this, before he got the position, people are like, you're going to slash and burn interest rates despite inflation. You're going to ignore
Plus
inflation.
likely to raise output targets by 188,000 BPD in August.
And you're just going to cut interest rates despite high inflation. So what he's saying is, yeah, we're not, I'm not going to cut. We're not happy. But he's not going to raise. But people are like, not happy means raise. He's got to do something about inflation. Yeah, he opened the Straits of Hormuz. I mean, it's the only way to do it. Now you're like, well, he didn't do it. Yeah, well, it's not a monetary policy issue at all. Why would you raise interest rates in something that has nothing to do with monetary policy? Ojo says, hey, why is NFP tomorrow? Because Friday the markets are closed for the 4th of July. Yeah, neat, right? Cool. So this tool, by the way, most people spend money on a Squawk Box. Some people pay, at least $100 a month. This is free with your free account. Yeah. Yeah, it gives you little chart alerts. It gives you price action alerts, gives you headline updates, gives you spike alerts. It's pretty kick-ass, guys. It's free. You should be using it every day. I'm already paying money. And every time you use it, it costs me money. So why don't you use it? I'm asking you, use it. Use it. Cool. That's it. So for those that are inside of TradeRs right now, I'm going to throw out a Canada Day celebration little thing. Yay! See? The confetti. Everybody throw out some confetti, and then we will go have some fun. I don't know if the market's going to move, but I'm going to move to my laptop. I'm going to enjoy my mushroom coffee and my ghee and MCT oil, not THC, and smoke my fabulous cigar. And then I'll check the markets the whole time. And I'm going to listen to the Squawk Box. I'm going to watch CNBC. And it's going to be hot today. So if the markets are still not moving, I'm going to swim and tan my six-pack abs. Well, that's actually not true, but I don't have six-pack abs. I have the body of a hot water heater, right? Round and white. But I gave myself a challenge. I looked in the mirror on Friday, and I'm like, dude, a little heavy. So I said, how much weight can I lose in 4 days? 7 pounds. Do you think I'm obsessive? Telling you I'm obsessive. I'm like 7 pounds in 4 days, no exercise. Yeah. So don't. Yeah. So anyways, I will continue obsessing till 4th of July. And my goal when I throw my pool party and I have guests over, I'm going to rip off that shirt and show off my no pack abs. No pack. But my wife, I think actually what occurred is my wife said, "Oh, you have a Buddha belly." Oh, snap. So now I got to be ready for my party. No Buddha belly. My zero pack abs. So working on it. So yeah, we got important things to do even on Canada Day, even if the market's stalled. But watch your news, watch the speeches, watch your back. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Thank you for allowing me to be on your team every day and use the data. Most of this is free. Use it. Some of it is premium. Yes, you do have to pay, but I even have launched a program now where the brokers will pay for you. So now you have no excuse. Like, what more can I do? You need to make your dreams become reality. Okay? E equals MC squared. Do you know what that means? The weight and the speed of light of your dream, right, is like tiny. Your dream is tiny. Okay? But the speed of light is huge. So how do you balance the equation? Do you know what the E is? Energy.
Gold rebounds above $4,000 as softer U.S. data. Warsh remarks weigh on U.S. dollar.
So, for your dream to become reality, to balance the equation and make the math work, the amount of energy that you put into this has to be huge. But it does equate. But if you just dream about it and you think it's going to be easy and you think it's going to be quick and you're just going to get it one day, doesn't balance or equate. And going to the driving range and hitting 10,000 golf balls will only perfect your mistakes. You'll only get perfect at your slice, high and to the right every time. So you got to change your behavior. Your focus should be on how you stand, on how you aim, how you grip, what your follow through is. Don't just grip it and rip it. Okay? Practice. And yes, every once in a while you need a coach. Do you know any top professional athlete without a coach, without a trainer, without a dietitian? Really? You do? Well, that you need all those things to compete because traders are very similar. Whatever it takes, and it takes a lot, but it's worth it. And you and I can do this together because I'm on your team and you're on my team. See you tomorrow.